It's my honor, my privilege, to introduce our keynote speaker today, Joe Pham.
Thank you, Dave. Welcome. Thank you, sir. Hello, InfoComm. Whoa, boy, we've got a crowd. That's good. I thought I was going to have to ask you to make a little bit more noise, but we're good. It is such an honor to be in front of you today. Thank you, Dave, for that very kind introduction. I have so much on my mind. There's so much that we want to talk about, but one thing I just want to make clear, we're going to have a little bit of fun this morning, okay? I mean, this is InfoComm Las Vegas. So are we ready to just have a little bit of fun? Yeah. Awesome. I am excited about the potential in our world. I am excited about our industry. My goodness, I am really excited about this LED wall screen behind me. Thank you to our partners Pixelflex for providing this beautiful, beautiful screen. What a lovely screen that I have today to share the AV stories with you. Okay? So we're going to talk about technology. We're going to talk about AI. We're obviously going to talk about our industry and all of the potentials that I see in our industry. But again, let's try to have a little bit of fun, because this is InfoComm. We ready to go? This is a great crowd. Let's go. Everything has changed, period. Let's go. Thank you, Dave, for that introduction. I'm not even going to go through this. I'm going to go straight to the real enterprise, Family LLC. Okay? I am certainly not the boss of this company. So my wife, Michelle, is the CEO. Our little girl, Ellie, is the chair girl of the board. And the three boys here are simply trying not to get fired. Okay. This picture was taken in 2016 in Dubrovnik. And Ellie was 4 right there. And this picture was taken early last January. Ellie was 11. But the parents in the room, you know how fast our kids grow up. Right? I mean, that kid there he just finished his first year at UCLA this week, 6'2½". The second kid is finishing his junior year in high school, 6'3½". No jokes if they're mine. Okay? No jokes if they're mine. Okay? And then Ellie, the little girl grew up so fast. And so I brought this up because Ellie was the inspiration for this talk. When this photo was taken January last year, it was just a couple months after ChatGPT was released. And it hit me at that point that Ellie, as an 11-year-old, is living a very, very entirely different lifetime than I lived at 11. I mean, let's just start with when I was 11, there was no internet. Okay? So I'm like, how is that possible that in one generation everything has changed? Has technology always accelerated this fast? So I went back 50 years, 100 years, 500 years. I went back 1,000,000 years of history to study technology and innovation. So if you allow me, I want to take you through 1,000,000 years of technology and innovation, but we're going to do it in 5 minutes because we have other things to talk about. Okay, so let's go through 1,000,000 years of human progress and innovation. Way, way back then, really the first great invention was fire. Fire obviously existed prior to 1,000,000 years ago, but it was our ability to use fire as a tool to keep us warm, to cook our foods. That was the invention. Oh, you must be laughing at the very, very first tweet ever. And it was still called Twitter back then. Okay? So we were becoming more, we were getting healthier, right? Because we were able to cook our food. And then that really allowed us to slowly develop our brains. So this led to the next revolution, which is the cognitive revolution. We're developing our brains, we develop language, we have memory, we have planning skills, we have reasoning skills. At this time, though, really the only profession still was hunter-gatherers. Okay? But because we were developing our brains, we were able to lead into the next revolution, which was the agricultural revolution. And we developed the wheel and the plow, and then this allowed human beings to have a profession other than hunter-gatherers. People became farmers, builders, traders, philosophers, etc. And then, my goodness, the printing press at the end of this revolution, one of the greatest inventions of humankind, right? At this point, we saw the first cycle, and the cycle goes like this. Knowledge spreads, innovation happens, we have a higher quality of life, we live longer, we get more educated. And then that's the cycle that continues to today. Except it's not like a warp speed today. So, next was the scientific revolution, personally my favorite, other than the one right now, because I'm a bit of a STEM geek. I love it. Calculus, physics, astronomy, chemistry, biology. So it really was an acceleration in human knowledge that transformed fundamentally how we viewed our world. We're getting close. Industrial Revolution laid the foundation for this modern world today. So, steam engines, electricity, telephone, telegraphs, airplanes, so much, and obviously the computer. It really was just a period of an explosion of inventions. And who do we have here? We have Edison, one of the key contributors to electricity. But this takes us up to 1969, where we land a man on the moon. So 1969 is the year before I was born. So I am terming my lifetime as the exponential age. I can frame this around my lifetime because it's my presentation, okay? The internet, cloud and mobile, and the greatest invention of them all, AI. Things are moving so fast today that as human beings, we really can't understand this pace of innovation. S-curves are feeding into each other. Technology is compounding at crazy speed. I mean, the music you're listening to right now is AI. No human being wrote this, but it's so powerful, it's as if only a human being could have written this. This is a remarkable moment. From fire to AI, everything has changed. I mean, there is zero exaggeration when I say this is the most remarkable of all remarkable times. Okay? So I wanted to go through that because I want to put the entire conversation today in a broader context. So let me pull out a few takeaways. This is the story of human progress and potential. Okay, now obviously, it's a qualitative chart. It looks like an exponential, but I'm actually going to argue that human progress and potential is an exponential. Because when you look at, for the math folks in the room, and when you look at the logarithm of the time, logs are same as exponential, what you have here is hundreds of thousands of years between major innovation. Then tens of thousands of years, then thousands of years, then hundreds of years, then decades, and now we're at a point where we're getting major disruption and innovation on a yearly basis. That's exponential. Okay, that is exponential. And so bringing back the story to Ellie, back here, I mean, you had tens of thousands of generations of 11-year-olds that basically lived the same life. And yet here in one generation, my little girl is living a totally different life than I was when I was there. So it is, what is the world going to be like when I have an 11-year-old grandchild? I can't tell you. No one can tell you. But I can tell you what it feels like. It feels like we are literally watching the future right now. Okay? So let's talk about AI. Let's talk about AI. We're going to talk about three things about AI. Three things have come together in a very magical way for this AI moment. It's computing, it's data, and it's neural networks. Okay, so let's talk about those three things. Computing, exponential, flops per dollar. Okay? So it seems like every 20 years, there's a new paradigm in computing, from the 60s of mainframes to the 80s of PCs to the 2000s of mobile. And now, computing is literally the massive data centers in the world. Okay? And so this is exponential from 1960 to today. You can actually even go back to 1940. If you were to plot this from 1940, you get on a log chart, you get a straight line, which is exponential. So we're talking about from telephone relays to vacuum tubes to transistors to IC. Exponential. So that's point one. Computing is exponential. Point two is I actually don't see a near-term end to this. I mean, yes, eventually it will taper off in some manner. But if you look at, there's so many vectors of innovation that's happening in computing today. And then we have quantum computing on the horizon. Computing exponential. And so here is the king of computing, Mr. Jensen Huang. He said, what would you do when your computer is 1,000,000 times faster? I've seen him speak many times. He often gives the argument that computing has accelerated 1,000 times in 5 years. Gives an argument that that will continue. So 1,000 times in 5 years is 1,000,000 times in 10. Okay, 1,000,000 times in 10. Now, I have to admit, I'm a bit of a fanboy of this guy. So I went to the GTC conference, and you know I like selfies. So this is a selfie of me with him taking a selfie with someone else. That's as close as I got. Okay, that's as close as I got. That's his security behind him. You can't mess with this guy. Okay, so exponential, it's going to continue. Data, same thing, exponential, and it's going to continue. When I gave a talk in 2016 around the industry, data was down here. And then I gave a talk at InfoComm 2019, data's here. Now data's up there. We're at 200 zettabytes. If I give a talk in a few years, that point will be down here. Okay? Data is exponential. And so because of that, you always get a crazy statistic like this, where just a massive amount of data has been generated in the last 18 months. And then by the end of the year, by the end of the decade, we'll be up to 1 yottabyte. Okay? No one knows what a yottabyte is. I won't even ask. It's 10 to the 24th. So we can write 1, and we can write 24 zeros, and we can put the word byte at the end, but our brains can't comprehend this. Okay? It's exponential, and it will continue. Because, we're all walking around human sensors, right? And you're going to get into synthetic data generation. So data generated by AIs. AIs talking to AIs, that's a lot of synthetic data. So this is definitely going to continue. And then the last thing, the neural network. So sometimes people talk about AI is nothing new, and that it sort of is an 80-year field. They're actually correct. Okay, this is the first paper from 1943. It's the first paper that actually talked about what we refer to today as neural networks. And this is a monumental paper in 2017 from Google. Attention is all you need. Okay? And it outlined the transformer neural network architecture. So I know this is not a technical conference, but I really want to impress on you just 4 characteristics of the transformer. If you can lock this in, you won't be surprised about what you've seen in the last 18 months, and you'll be less surprised about what you see in the coming years. Okay? So the transformer, number 1, it's extremely, extremely smart. So you put things in the context windows, it understands all the tokens in the context of each other. Because prior to the transformer, there was a lot of different neural network architectures. The transformer is the one that's bringing it together. So it's extremely, extremely smart. Number 2, it's super scalable and efficient. You can throw massive amounts of data at it, and it computes in a very efficient, parallel way. Okay? Number 3, it's extremely resilient. The transformers that you're using today, so the T in GPT stands for transformer. Okay, that's what that stands for. It's the 100 AI models that you're using today, it's likely using transformers that are the same one from 2017. Okay? And then number 4, and this one's really important, multimodal. This was really the breakthrough that brought together lots of different fields of AI. So multimodal means you can throw it almost any mode. Text, so that means text in any language. It means code in any language. Audio, so that's speech in any language. It also means music in any style. Images, 2D, 3D, videos, animation. Anything that has structure. So this includes molecules, enzymes, proteins. Okay? It's a remarkable breakthrough. So when you think of any mode to any mode, it actually explains a lot of what you've seen in the last 18 months and what you'll continue to see. So I'm going to go through, one of the things is it's called generative pre-trained transformer. I actually like to think of it as standing for general purpose technology because it's not transformational. And you know what else was a general purpose technology? Electricity. Electricity, right? Things that have applications everywhere. So let's go through. Actually, I'm going to do one more thing. And the reason I want to go through all this is I really want our industry to understand AI from a broader point of view. If I originally thought about just showing AI updates, but anytime you just show AI news and updates, it gets completely outdated in 3 weeks. Okay? So there's one other thing let's go through. Let's go through not an 80-year history, but let's go through a much shorter, let's say 20-year time window of AI, just starting back from 2012. Okay? Starting back to the classification era. 2012, a convolutional neural network came out called AlexNet. You put a cat in, and it says cat. And this is the first example of what I would call just isms. So a lot of people looked at this and said, well, that's cute. It can tell it's a cat. Jensen Huang looked at this and said the computer had changed forever. Okay? So this really ignited massive activities in neural networks. Okay? And then that takes us up to 20. And classification, you see a ton. Right? You write an Amazon review, it's favorable. I put this on my face, it says it's Joe Pham. My social media profile says this guy likes yoga, meditation, and guitar. Those are all classification type of AIs, and the list is long. Okay? Lots of classification. Generative. This is the era. Obviously, ChatGPT was the big bang for generative AI, and this is the era that has captured everyone's imagination. Remember, this is the any mode to any mode because it's using the transformer. So I'm just going to show you a few examples. The first one is going to be text to speech and animation. Okay, text to speech and animation. So to do that, I need to share a bit of a story. So I named myself Joe. Okay. I immigrated here from Vietnam. My mom took me to enroll me in kindergarten, and the administrator said, there is no way the kids are going to be able to pronounce his name. So the administrator said, do you have a different name? And I said, yeah, call me G.I. Joe. And the administrator said, well, maybe we just drop the GI part there. So nearly 50 years later, I'm going to show you text to speech and animation. I want to introduce you to AI Joe.
Hi, I'm Joe Pham, and welcome to InfoComm. Please make sure to visit us at booth C3 and discover our ridiculously amazing new technologies. Experience what's possible with us.
AI Joe is very
Hola,
fluent.
soy Joe Pham y bienvenidos a InfoComm. Por favor,
Spanish.
asegúrate de visitar en el stand C. Hallo, ich bin Joe Pham und
German.
willkommen bei InfoComm. Besuchen Sie Q am Stand C5. 你好，我是乔帆，欢迎来到信息通信站，请务必参观。
You can go on and on and on and on and on. You can go on and on and on and on, right? And so this is just, that's not me talking, right? That's just text and to animation. Let's go with another example. What do we have next? Oh, let's do this, text to video. Okay? And there's one reason I want to show this chart. Because just isms show up again. 2023, well, it's an okay chat bot, but it really can't do video, obviously. 1 year later, this was just released last week. It's called Kling. It's an AI that's coming out of China, a Chinese tech firm. 1 year later, okay? This is not even important. The only thing important on this slide, the only thing that's important on this slide is the pace of innovation. It has never, ever, ever been this fast. Okay? So for those of you who are using AI and you don't like it, I have great, great, great news for you. Your AI that you're using is the dumbest AI that you'll ever have to use again in your life. Because the pace of innovation is so crazy. Okay? So we're going to do one more just for fun. We love music. This is InfoComm. We're the AV industry. So we're going to do text to music. So I threw this into a prompt, a rock song about the InfoComm trade show. Topics: sight and sound, human connection, AI, innovation, Las Vegas, greatest show on earth, obviously. AV, and every time you write, you got to write audio visual or else it thinks it's autonomous vehicles. Okay? So I put this in. This took 10 seconds for me to write. 10 seconds later, I got this.
Bright lights, dazzling sights, innovation all around. Connections made, ideas shared in this AV playground. AI is everywhere, a spectacle so grand in this vibrant city, Las Vegas land. Human connections are made to the sound of a digital beat. Navigating through the crowds feels like a grand parade. Booths and demos left and right in this cutting-edge arcade. It's an audio-visual dreamland starting right now. Welcome to InfoComm, with sight and sound amaze. Step into the future in 1,000 different ways. The greatest show on earth as the buzz begins to grow. And we'll keep on going 'cause it's all a part of the show.
All right, that's enough. That is enough of that. That is enough. You like it? I like it. I like it. Where's Dave LaBuscus? That should be like everywhere. No. So here's the thing. 10 seconds to write, 10 seconds to come back. This is the inference process. It cost me 4 cents. The cost of intelligence is going to go down to zero. This cost me 4 cents, right? $10 a month, 250 songs, that's 25 songs for $1, that's 4 cents. So, agentic era. This is going to blow your mind. Generative was about knowledge. You give it one shot and it gives you knowledge. Agentic is about action. Okay? So we're going to get into agents. So if the agents stay in the digital world, there'll be digital agents. If the agents are interacting in the physical world, robotics is another great example. And the intelligence goes from just knowledge, which was the generative era, to multi-step planning, reasoning, memory. This is starting to look like the cognitive revolution again. Okay? This is going to blow our mind. And again, I'm just putting dates here, and at this point, we're just guessing. Okay, at this point, we're just guessing in terms of when artificial general intelligence will come. So that's basically, there's no standard definition. Just think of it as the AI is smarter than any human or smarter than all humans combined. Okay? Probably by the end of the decade. What are we going to do with all this? And are we ready for it? So artificial intelligence will have a more profound impact on humanity than fire, electricity, and the internet. Right? Electricity gave us power on tap. The internet gave us information on tap. AI is giving us intelligence on tap. It is a really, really, really big deal.
Dude, wait. I'm gonna let you finish, but AI is going to take all our jobs away. It's a disaster waiting to happen.
Okay, well, that is a really important topic, but I'm in the middle of a keynote.
Don't worry, Real Joe. I got this. Hey, AI Joe, yes, there will certainly be disruption. But history tells us that technology creates more jobs and new opportunities we haven't even imagined yet. No way. I've heard this song before. We should just stop developing AI right now. No, we just need to be smart. Develop safely, responsibly, ethically. All of us have the power to shape AI for the better and use it to improve humanity. Wrong. Again. AI is bad. I'm right. You're dumb. Why are you so naive?
Okay, hold on. When the AI starts insulting you, just turn it off. Okay, just turn it off. Now, I showed that, and I don't want to make light of the situation. There's a lot of concerns about AI, and a lot of really legitimate concerns about AI, and we as humanity need to solve some serious problems. So I just want to encourage everyone here to attend the Q&A session tomorrow at 1 p.m. at the AI Experience stage, and we can talk about anything that is on your mind. Okay, anything is on your mind. But I'm honestly an optimist. I see a future of abundance, and it's not because I'm oblivious to the problems. The problems are really significant. It's just that I believe our capability and our capacity to solve our biggest challenges is way greater than before. And that's what makes me an optimist and sees a future of abundance. Okay? So, and I'll just summarize the AI section, and we'll move more to AV. The reason this is so is we're talking about intelligence. And intelligence is the creation of everything that we have. And AI is now a lever on intelligence. I don't want to say never, but I cannot imagine it getting bigger than this moment. Okay? So let's talk about our industry. Let's shift, let's talk a little bit about the AV industry. This was a talk that I did in 2016. I went around the industry and talked about, it was called Winter is Coming. You remember the original photo was taken in Dubrovnik. That's where they recorded a lot of the Game of Thrones. If you're a Game of Thrones, you already know this phrase. And the catchphrase, winter is coming, meaning IT is coming. I've been in this industry for 20 years. We've been talking about AV IT convergence for 20 years. So what we did here is we mapped IT cycles and we mapped AV cycles. And the conclusion is AV is always behind IT. Okay? So I just want, AV IT has happened. It has come. It has happened.
Winter is coming. See, I told you.
With that animation, I want to officially close the book on a conversation on AV IT convergence. Because technology is moving so fast, we need a conversation around AV AI convergence. Okay? And I should be clear. Let me define my definitions. Okay, and I can because it's my presentation. Okay, so let me define. By IT, I mean network, switches, and infrastructure, somewhat of a hardware mindset. And by AI, I mean cloud compute, data, neural networks. Hardware, but much more of a software mindset. And by IT, I mean redundancy, resiliency, safety, security. Obviously needed and critically important, but that's a utility framework. And by AI, I mean insights, outcome, connection, much more of a experience mindset. Okay? So whether we like it or not, AI is coming, and I believe we have the potential to drive the positive changes of this convergence. Let me shift gears. Not about technology, let's just shift gears on the world for a second. There's a lot of things happening in the world that makes a lot of us feel uneasy. Geopolitical conflict, so wars in multiple regions at this point, financial instability. You know, we have a debt finance economy and a fiat system that has created and continues to proliferate a massive wealth gap in the world. We have social divide, which is extreme populism on the left and the right. And we have the pandemic, and besides the horrible health consequences, the pandemic has torn a lot of people apart too. So it is the great modern irony that in a world with nearly 8 billion people technologically connected, that I feel like we have a world where we are more disconnected than ever as human beings. It's a sad situation, and a lot of us don't feel good about it. Okay? And I bring this up for a few reasons. I'm not going to talk about geopolitical the wars. I'm not going to talk about the finance. I'm not going to talk about the social divide. But let me make a few points on the pandemic, since that has completely changed our industry. So, really good news is tech adoption. I mean, we had about 5 years of video conferencing adoption in 5 months. And then we've gone from hybrid work to, work from home to hybrid work to future of work. And so, but one of the challenges of this situation is that it's really hard to keep employees engaged and connected. I'm not going to read this chart, but it's intuitive. Employees that are low in belonging, bad. Employees that are high in belonging, good. Employee disconnection costs U.S. companies up to $406 billion a year from Harvard Business Review. If we extrapolate that to the world, it's $1 trillion problem. I'm not saying that's $1 trillion opportunity for AV, but AV has a significant role here to connect human beings. And so we know that intrinsically that humans are wired to connect. This is a quote from Dr. Peter Salovey. He's a PhD professor at Yale University. He's the one that coined the term emotional intelligence. Humans are wired to connect. We know this. And it's actually more than intrinsic, it's physical. Right? When you are born, you are physically connected to another human being. And then the cord gets cut, and what happens? We cry like a baby until we feel the warm embrace of another human being. Not all species are like that, but humans are absolutely wired to connect. We know that. And so, humans are wired to connect. Enterprises need to connect their workforce to deliver great results. Institutions everywhere need to elevate the experience because we live in a very spoiled hybrid digital world, right? And then just the world needs more human connection and joy. But yet we are the industry that controls and manages and amplifies the two most important senses for human connection, sight and sound. We're the last mile to your eyes and ears. That is a critical mile. This is very meaningful and gives us purpose as an industry. Now, sight and sound is related to what I will call eyes and ears. Everywhere. Now, when I put this up, there's always some concerns around security, privacy, ethics, legal regulation. For sure, we have to address all of that. But I want to talk about the significance of eyes and ears everywhere. We as an industry have eyes and ears everywhere. Because if you go back to AI, it's about the compute, the data, and the neural networks. We are not going to outcompute NVIDIA. We are not going to out-neural network Google and OpenAI and Meta. And so the only differentiating factor for most industries, for most companies, is data. And yet we as an industry have eyes and ears everywhere. This data is critical for our AV systems. It's also critical for the platforms that we connect with, like the UC platforms, smart buildings platform, etc. Okay? And so, if data is the only differentiating factor, and we have literally the best data set of real-time human connection out of anyone, you know that's value. And I'll give you just one more thing on data. It's related to this. I call it point 3. But if you think about the next generation of AI development, what are we going to see? We're going to see true multimodal end-to-end single neural networks. It's been trained on text. It's been trained on images. The key next modality is data, is video. Okay? We are going to see AIs that need to understand the physical world, the physics of the physical world. What do you need? You need video of the real world. We're going to see agents that need to be trained on interacting with human beings. What do you need? Video of human interaction. And we're going to need safer AI that is more aligned with human values. What are you going to need? Video of human interaction. This is truly an unbelievable thing that we have as an industry. This is really when sight turns into insight. Okay? And so, yes, synthetic data is going to be very synthetic video data, but we as an industry, and this is such a critical point, we as an industry have real-time, situated, and in context, geospatially aligned video everywhere. That is really valuable. I know this is not a technical conference, and I know it's not an investor conference, but if there was an ETF on the AV sector, I would buy it. Okay, that is not financial advice. Okay, not financial advice. Okay? Let me wrap up this with a quick story. So I've spent a lot of time at Stanford and Silicon Valley in the last 18 months. I was at Stanford for training, and there were 60 executives from Google and Amazon and McKinsey and BCG and PwC and Accenture, and they put us into 10 teams of 6. And we had to have a business case competition for the week. Okay? My team won. My team won. Okay, so why am I sharing this? Well, 1% is so for me to brag. But the 99% reason of why I'm sharing is it was just an eyes and ears everywhere opportunity in the AV industry. So you're talking the judges for this business case competition was professors at Stanford in engineering, in computer science, from the business school, and then they bring in a couple of their VC friends. And that panel, out of 10 cases, picked eyes and ears in the AV as the best opportunity they saw. And I want to tell you something. Those opportunities are everywhere in our industry. Okay? So, it is time. It is time for us to step up to center stage. The world needs our technology for human connection. We have an amazing ability in terms of the access to data to really advance human connection and insights and outcomes and the great experiences that we want to do. Okay, we've always been an industry that's a little bit behind IT, and it's sort of like people care less. That shouldn't be the case, because it is our moment to step up to center stage. Are you excited? Yeah! So how are we going to do this? We're going to bring back our friends, the Avengers, or the AV-Engers. Okay? The AV-Engers. So this was a talk I actually delivered at InfoComm in 2019, and I went around the world again, because QSC had just did the world premiere of the Avengers. So I said, let's do something around the Avengers. At that time, we had left the 6th Infinity Stone unknown. I remember in an InfoComm, I said, I don't know what it is, but I'm sure it will reveal itself in the coming years. It is clearly about connection and human experience, without question. Okay? Without question. And then I just want to bring back one slide from the AV-Engers from 2019. And this was the slide from 2019. I said, these asteroids were going to come at us. And the asteroids were labeled machine learning, deep learning, neural networks, artificial intelligence. This was from 2019, and we spoke about this at InfoComm. So I want to tell you something. The asteroids are here in a big, big, big way. In a big way. And are you ready for it? So I'm going to talk about the technology pieces on this slide, but before that, I just want to make one comment on talent, just a really brief comment. This industry has always had a big priority to attract the next generation of talent. an AV industry with a vision of connection and human experience through advanced technologies, I believe will attract a next generation of talent. The technical talent, the creative talent, the new generation that rightfully has purpose and meaning much more high on their list. So that's a talk for another time. So but I am gonna just talk about some of the software piece, the technology pieces here. Software cloud, platform ecosystems, data AI. Because for us to do what we want to do, we need to engineer our systems correctly. And we don't have to overthink this. Engineering our architecture correctly really just means the way the technology world does it. And so
I am inevitable.
I am Groot.
There was literally no reason for that animation other than the fact that I just wanted to close the book on the AV engineers. So now it's closed, okay? So software cloud. Let's talk about software cloud. Device layers, edge layer, cloud layers. We as an industry are so heavy at the device layer, device operations level. Yes, we do have edge layer, edge processing, and there's more and more cloud, but generally speaking, the rest of the world is cloud first. And the reason that's important is so much magic can happen in the cloud. For example, digital twins. There are digital twins that are being built of massive factories, of cities. NVIDIA is actually building a digital twin of the entire planet to solve serious problems in climate. So if anyone tells me that we cannot build a digital twin of our AV systems, I don't believe you. I just don't believe you. And so, but why would we want to do this? Because we can solve so many problems when we engineer things correctly. I showed a quote from the CEO of Google, so let me just use Google as an example. You can use your favorite large enterprise. So let's just think, if Google wants to deploy 2,000 conference rooms in 3 months, it should not be a technology problem. It should not. Okay? Now, it's probably a supply chain problem to get all of those devices into the field. It's a Google problem in terms of setting some standards and clear expectations on the user experience. It should be a channel problem to get it all together, but there's a lot of people in this room that would love to have that problem. But it should not be a technology problem because the technology is available. There's a lot of engineering that we need to do, but the technology is available. All of those devices should go in. The digital twin has modeled your AV system. We can provision, we can update firmware, we can just flick go. Okay? So, but to do that, we need our AV systems in a single platform and build an ecosystem around it because you need everything connected in a smart platform. And once you have this, that's really when you can enable data and AI. Again, there's plenty of AI that's actually in an edge processor, but I'm talking about this grand vision in terms of what we need to do. Okay? So what I'm really talking about is a full stack AV platform. And it has 3 pieces. Multimodal I/O that connects the platform to the physical world. Multimodal in terms of audio, video, text, voice, control signals, data. An intelligent data pipeline that transports securely and efficiently and transports and routes intelligently to either other devices, other platforms, or to the cloud. And then a cognitive cloud that leverages the best of machine learning and AI to deliver insights, outcomes, and experience. Right? So what we're really talking about here is, in the AV, a real-time platform that integrates device operations, edge processing, cloud compute, data AI into a unified and extensible way. Real time, real-time and synchronous across devices, unified across applications and experiences, extensible to other platforms. Once we have this, then we can enable all sorts of magical AI in our industry to serve our clients and just bring human connection and joy and elevate experience together. So let me go through a few things, okay? I'm just gonna go through 6 areas in our industry where we should expect to see AI. I'm gonna go through them in sequential order, but the list is not complete, and it's really the combination of these 6 where the magic really happens. Let's go through this pretty quickly. Audio AI. You're going to have audio AI in terms of quality, right? So noise reduction, blind source separation, studio, microphone, speaker focus. And then it's also in context and awareness, event detection, etc. Right? There's so much information. If you actually close your eyes, you could actually kind of get a good sense of a lot of information. Okay? So audio AI, we're going to see a ton of it. Video AI, quality in the experience. So there's certainly a number of solutions today in terms of auto switching, auto cropping, auto tracking, right? And then the quality itself, you're going to get into, again, noise reduction, anomaly, artifact reduction, video studio relighting, and then the context awareness of video is really, really important also, right? So scene analysis, gesture analysis, etc. Okay? Because eyes and ears. Control AI. So certainly Gen AI in terms of control, but so I was a controls engineer. And so if you're a controls engineer, you actually see the whole world in terms of input, transfer function, and output, and sometimes you close the loop. Okay? So let me just illustrate this by an example. I was at UCLA a few months ago. I serve on an advisory board at UCLA Engineering, and we spent the day there. In the morning, the projector screen was amazing, and then in the afternoon, the sun was just beaming in, and no one could see anything. So the professor's trying to figure out how to lower the shades. I'm sure it's there somewhere, right? I'm sure it's there somewhere, either a physical controller or within a menu somewhere, but no one knew how to do it. Okay? And I'm sitting there thinking, oh my gosh, there are cameras everywhere. They should know that the sun is beaming in and no one can see the screen. There are microphones everywhere in this room. It should understand that everyone is saying, does someone know how to lower the shades? It should just do it, right? That's the intelligence. And I want to make it's different than automation, okay? Automation is a deterministic thing that someone programmed. Maybe there was automation there, but the trigger was way too high. So intelligence gives you human intent, and that is not just automation. That's why a lot of us don't like the automation, because it's never programmed the way we intended, or the way different users would intend. Let's move on. Data AI. You're going to see tons here. Predictive analytics, self-healing systems, and then data AI. The thing with data is, there's so much data in the enterprises today. Even if an enterprise had 1,000 people going through the data, which they don't, human beings still won't be able to pick out things that an AI can. So an AI will sort of pick out the things, but do it at much larger scale. And this is we as an industry, we've talked about managed services for a long, long time. To me, this is a real enabler for managed services. Workflow AI. So let me try this one on for size. Does this sound familiar? We cannot deliver a consistent and quality experience through design and commissioning and managing and monitoring to the user experience. That has been a problem for our industry in my entire time here. But now you're going to get Gen AI in the design, because remember, it's in the digital twin. And then, and so this actually reminds me of a great Satya Nadella quote. AI will both lower the floor and raise the ceiling, meaning we're going to be able to design much more consistent user experiences because we're going to be able to leverage the tools. And raise the ceiling means we're going to do exceptional things with it. Generative AI, we've talked about generative in coding, and then generative in terms of digital signage. I think this is another catalyst to really cross the chasm in the digital signage industry, right? I think there's going to be amazing things here. So essentially, let me just show you, when you have this full stack AV and you can use all this, we're just speaking to and interacting with computers. And I say interacting because remember, all the cameras are there. You can interact with them. So I'm just going to show you one clip, okay, one clip of a conference room in the future.
Okay, let's see something here. Hey, Quincy, could you show me last quarter's quotas versus
So the left screen is happening in the background.
Generating quote report.
Hey, Quincy, can you summarize Rusty's last talking points and put them on this screen? Okay, so Miles, I need you to work on a better pricing model. Tracy and Julie, we need some persona work. And Laura, we need some new social media ideas.
Oh, way ahead of you. Hey, Quincy, bring up my Eraser 2.0 ad from my cloud drive.
Hey, Quincy, can you send out those action items and schedule a meeting for next week?
Your action items and meeting invites have been sent.
All right, hey, great work, everyone. We'll see you next week.
That's relatively simple. I actually showed that at the InfoComm last year, but I just wanted, I mean, that's where we're moving. Just speaking and interacting, there's, you know, the AI is you're going to be interacting with it very, very naturally. So, you know, this mental exercise that we just went through when we design things properly, you can do this in any of the verticals in our industry. In higher education, interactive and collaborative learning across geographies. In sports bar, really building a sense of local community. In hotels, great area for personalized experiences. Theme parks, shared immersive experiences. Okay? So we can do this in any of the verticals that we're in. And then, you know, so the question is, what will you do across this? So I'm going to bring it back to little Ellie. We're going to do one more vertical. We're going to talk about live entertainment because it's just so darn fun. It's really why I joined the industry. These are Ellie's Taylor Swift guitars. That's actually Taylor Swift's signature. When Taylor Swift was 16, before Ellie was born. So guess who's the original T-Swift fan, right? This guy. Okay? And so, this is Elise, the very first time she saw Taylor Swift. This was the 2018 Reputation Tour, not the current Eras Tour. That expression, you cannot, that's priceless, and only AV can create that. The first time, the light, the sound, the video with a mega pop star, that is priceless. And those are the emotions that we invoke in our industry. That's really powerful. Okay? So I'm going to show you, so of course I told you that, you know, the three boys are trying to keep their jobs. So I bought tickets for my wife and my little girl, and we went to see the Taylor Swift concert, the Eras Tour, last year. And then I go back to work and I get a text from my wife that says, Ellie and I are going back tonight. So they happen just to get like really, really great seats. So this is from their concert, just for fun. So she's actually pointing at little Ellie. Okay, so this footage was from a fan a few feet down because my wife is way too excited with her camera. Okay, but it was an incredible moment. So if you go to a Taylor Swift concert, it's just a magical, magical, magical experience, an amazing experience in human connection. Right? There's so much joy, there's so much happiness. You know, it's just everyone is coming together. Fathers are like superheroes to their daughters. And people are having the time of their lives. That's part of the magic that what we can deliver as an industry. I just love this industry. I absolutely just love this industry. Okay, I'm slowly going to wind this keynote up. AV is taking center stage. The world needs our technologies for human connection. We have the richest data set of video in the world. That is extremely valuable to our systems, to UC systems, to smart building systems, to smart cities. Okay? And the question is, what role will you play? How will you reinvent yourself or your company? How will you reimagine the possibilities? How will you invoke positive change in the world? So I've talked about change, and so I'm going to bring up one last tweet. Change is the only constant in life. That's profound, but it's so profoundly wrong, right? Because if there's one thing that I've tried to impress on you, change is not a constant. Change is an exponential. All right, here's an exponential function. E is Euler's constant, the most beautiful constant in the world. It's either that or pi. I don't know. I'm torn between the two. That's why e to the I pi plus 1 is equal to 0 is the beautiful. Okay, I got to stop. So none of that. Okay, so change. So how you read this is change is greater than 0 than for all time. That means we always have change. And if you take a derivative, this is a beautiful function, the derivative, which is the increase in change, the velocity is greater than 0 for all time. That means change is always increasing. And if you take a second derivative, I love it. We all can do calculus. It's the same function. It's greater than 0 for all time. So it's not only increasing, it's accelerating. Okay? And do you want to know what's not exponential? Human beings, our organizations, how we adapt. I'm just going to share a quick story. Quick story. Hundreds and hundreds of years ago, there was a king who was taught chess by his servant. And the king's getting a bit confident and says, let's play chess for a wager. What would you like? And the servant says, well, king, if I win, I just want 1 grain of rice on the first square, 2 grains of rice on the second square, 4 grains on the third, 8 grains on the fourth, etc. Exponential. So the king says, that's it. Let's play. So you kind of know where the story is going. The king lost and had to pay the debt. And you might even know there's no way all of those grains of rice could get on the chessboard. But if you take those grains of rice and you just put them end to end linearly, how far do you think that goes? I've done this talk a number of times. I've heard everything from 10 miles to LA to New York. I've heard some crazy stuff around the world, right? We're just talking about rice. So I'll just give you the answer. It goes from here to Pluto and back. And I reference Pluto because when I was in school, Pluto was a planet. Okay? I still think Pluto's a planet. Yes. Oh, we got a lot of Pluto fans. It goes to Pluto and back 8,799 times. Our brain is so mismatched from the exponential. There's a beautiful quote, the biggest shortfall of human beings is our inability to understand the exponential, okay? But that is opportunity. The mismatch is the opportunity. So when there is a time of change, there's opportunity. But in a time of exponential change, there is exponential opportunity. And then if you throw on top of it the AV industry, it is absolutely massive opportunity for our industry. Okay? So we started looking back 1 million years of technology and innovation. Let me just wrap up by looking at the next 10 years of technology and innovation. Okay? You do not want to miss the next 10 years. You do not. We're going to say autonomous vehicles. Well, that's here already. Education. Every kid and human being will have access to the best tutor, teacher, professor. Healthcare. Everyone will have access to great and affordable healthcare. Genomics and drug discovery. Instead of discovering drugs and cures, we engineer drugs and cures. Agriculture, solving serious problems in climate, humanoid robots, smart cities, quantum computing, artificial general intelligence, nuclear fusion, multi-planetary life. Okay, maybe that last one is not in the next 10 years. Okay, I don't want to freak anybody out. Yeah, but I had to throw it in. Okay? This has been an amazing time. You have been an amazing crowd. You know, I started this talk talking about the revolutions in history, but with our collective ingenuity and the power of AI, we as an industry can ignite a revolution in human connection. We are builders, and the world is waiting. So let's build. Thank you so much. Thank you. You've been a wonderful crowd. I wish you have a great, great show.
Welcome to InfoComm, where sight and sound amaze.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
The greatest show on earth as the buzz begins to grow, and we'll keep on going.
Wait, what?
'cause it's
Hold on.
all a part of
Hold
the
on.
show. Bright lights, dazzling sights, innovation all around.